And we are back.
We are back, bumble bitches.
I don't know what episode to call this, but it is the To Be Better podcast.
We are here.
Yeah. This is a random reaction style episode where we're going to pick things that we've pulled off the internet and talk about them.
Yes.
Just to give something slightly different for a little while. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if not, I mean, we're still getting content created, so good for us.
Heck yeah. Have you ever seen Horton Hears a Who? Mm-mm. No?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think he came out like 2008 maybe. But there's a scene in the movie where all of the Who's are shouting, "We are here, we are here, we are here." And that's how I felt saying that just now.
So we have...
Excuse me.
No real direction.
No.
Do you want to just grab some comments and start going, or?
I'm really starting to get that mom look at the phone because I hold my head up like this because I don't want to have bad posture, but I'm holding my phone low so my eyes are down here. And I'm very much like...
You don't have to worry about it until you start doing this.
I do that until I recognize I have glasses. Oh, this isn't the right phone. Pardon me. Let me get my work phone. This is where I do all my posting from now. I don't have Instagram on my phone. I have a personal phone. I don't have Instagram on here. I don't have Facebook. I don't have TikTok, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. I have nothing. I have text messaging, phone calling. I have YouTube for when I'm cooking. I listen to something or like when I'm putzing around. I have Audible. And I have one single game that I'm obsessed with right now. And that's it. My mental health has been fantastic.
That's awesome. I love that.
Also, quick shout out to Endless Lines by Allie on Instagram if you want to check her out. It's Endless Lines, by Allie,Ally. And she does all line work and it's all digital. And I love looking at it. It just does something for my brain. And that was the first thing that popped up. And it looks like it reminds me of palm fronds. So if you guys want mind-numbing, good-feeling things that's nice to look at that isn't politics or advertisement, check that out. All right, how do I get to my saved things?
I know how to do this. This is the easy part.
Getting into it. I mean, I have everything there. I know where it's at. And once we get in there, it's good. But I don't know how to get there. Can someone pull up MapQuest? Can you help me? Do you know how to get to
I don't know where you're saving shit on your phone at.
So I'm in Instagram. I need to get to my collections. And there's a collection called 4Pod where I save all of my things to have discussions. It's happened. It's happened a lot sooner than I thought it would, but I already need help with technology. I don't understand Instagram anymore. I'm with you, Peach. Instagram collections is hard for me to find too. Like, there's not even directions. I click the little hamburger folder and there's nothing there. It's just all things that not what I'm looking for. Same vibes as once I get my shit together, life organized and mental health in check, it's over for you fuckers. It is. That is the same energy. I'm going to let this aerate because I don't want it to get soggy. Should I sit up with you? Would it look better?
You can do whatever you want to do, babe. I can't sit back.
Okay, you seem frustrated.
No, I just would like to get this episode done with because I would also like to play video games today. We are going to game and have an easy night. And hopefully my back stops hurting.
Can we both get baked and watch Fight Club tonight?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I'm planting that seed. So I'm just going to read through these, and if one sparks a conversation for you, let's have the back and forth. The temptation with dealing with emotionally immature people is to think, how do I share this with them? As if all this person needs is to be educated about their behavior and the impacts it has on others. Unfortunately, the two key features of emotionally immature are 1, an inability to self-reflect, and 2, a lack of desire to self-correct. Why would they correct a problem they don't think they have? If you're dealing with an emotionally immature person...
Okay, is this all the same thing still, or are we moving on to another one?
This is all the same thing.
Okay.
If you're dealing with an emotionally immature person, The information you are learning about them is for you. The information is for you to learn who they are, how they work, what their limitations are, and to help you deal with them.
There's a whole lot said there.
Yeah. You want me to repeat anything?
Well, it doesn't. I mean, there's nothing. I don't feel like there's really anything to add there. It's all a factual statement.
Okay, moving on. A toxic family will defend an abuser that has hurt a relative and call it two sides to every story. A healthy person will call it betrayal trauma.
I disagree with that 100%.
Elaborate.
How is it betrayal drama? Because
Trauma,
whatever.
Right.
How is it that thing when other people are perceiving the situation from their cognitive bias?
right.
Where is there a betrayal?
So
If I'm watching a TV show, the meaning that I'm assigning to the TV show is based off of my life experiences, whether I'm
Right.
getting emotional or not.
right.
That doesn't negate whatever's happening in the TV show. It doesn't mean that one person is right or wrong. This is my perceived experience of life.
Right.
So how is that a betrayal?
Because the family's not listening to the victim. They're trying to justify the abuse by saying there's two sides to every story.
Is that justifying abuse? Or maybe
It could be.
Or maybe the person's just one of those shitty ass people who's always caught up in some fucking drama.
Right.
And
that could also be the case.
Right. And that's perspective.
It is perspective,
So
yeah.
the betrayal there doesn't work for me.
The betrayal trauma works for me in certain circumstances, certain situations. So the betrayal trauma, say the dad is a drug addict,
Yep.
right? And because of the fallout, the chasing of the high, children are being forgotten at school. They're being left at the grocery store. His mom is stepping in and going, well, he had a really rough childhood, guys. You need to give him some slack, when he is putting children in very dangerous situations, right? And then those children grow up and they're trying to have conversations about this. Say dad has been clean for 10 years. Those children are still affected by what happened in their childhood and they still have to process that. And if it hasn't been processed and they're trying to approach that conversation with the family and the family is shutting it down by going, well, that happened 10 years ago. He was having a hard time. People have addiction issues. And not acknowledging the hurt caused by the dad in that moment, I would view that as a betrayal.
Yeah. I still don't.
Yeah.
Because in order for there to be a betrayal, there has to be sides taken, drawn in the sand that this is the hill that I'm going to die on.
Right, and
I'm
that would be
loyal
with the
to this
dad.
situation. Right. But the
Yeah.
dad made mistakes.
Right.
And the people that are trying to get that person to have grace is not validating them. That lack of validation can be seen as betrayal if you believe that everyone is supposed to have your side.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize that there are no sides, there's only the meaning that we assign to situations, there can be no betrayal. I don't expect anybody to take my side on anything. So
I think it's less of taking a side on it and more of just understanding who was put through what and acknowledging what was done.
right, but that's the validation. That's not betrayal.
From family, it sucks. There is a loyalty expectation from family and
Right.
society.
Well, if it happens all within a family,
Right.
means somebody has to take sides on who's doing what in the family. It's not a betrayal. It's family. It's different people's lived perspectives. I understand what you're trying to get at. I just don't see it that way.
I don't
because,
understand what you're saying.
You know,
It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think that you can have betrayal unless you are supposed to have unyielding loyalty to someone else, and that's where that betrayal would come.
And that's
in.
what people view family as.
Right. If you have a brother and a sister,
Right.
and they're both at odds, and one of them is saying that one person's okay and the other one's saying it's not, and you're getting mad about the one saying it's not, or however you want to word that, there's a betrayal there because you expect those people to take your sides. Well, if your brother and sister are at odds over it, where's the betrayal? If you're in the middle, how can you be betrayed if they're both family members? Because you keep saying with family.
Right. Well, that's what it said.
Right.
Because that's what we're talking about.
I just don't see how there can be a betrayal there. If it was an outside of the family situation, I can understand the terminology in that. But again, life is not happening to you. Life is happening.
Right.
And what you assign to the situation is where it goes.
Right. I need to pause because I feel like I'm starting to understand what you're saying, but it's very, very loosely grasped in my hand. So because family is family, a betrayal can't be had there because family equates to loyalty in society.
That's what it's supposed to. I mean, it doesn't,
Right.
but that was the argument you were making.
Well, that's the excuse that people use. your family, you can't do that to me.
No, you can.
Right.
And
no,
you
you
do.
can. Right. But that's the mindset a lot of people have.
Right. Well, and that's them putting the meaning in the DNA versus the quality of the character of the person. Your DNA doesn't dictate your behavior at all.
Right. And based on that DNA.
Based off cortisol and things like that. But like, that's not the conversation we're having.
Right. But based on that DNA is where that foundation and loyalty is expected.
Right. You could walk by somebody
Right.
that has your DNA and never even know that it's not
Right.
like you're like, oh, gravity.
Right.
Oh,
There's not an orbit happening. Right.
It's just not a thing.
Okay, so because they're brother and sister and they come from the same family, the betrayal can't happen because it's within the same family.
Well,
is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying that based off of your family argument, yes. That's how I feel.
Okay, so how would it be outside of this argument? Because now you're confusing me more.
Well, outside of the argument, people would have the need to put the loyalty on the family aspect versus the not family thing. Loyalty is given. It's, you know what I mean? So like, just because you
Right.
share DNA doesn't mean shit. We chose to be married.
Right.
So there's a loyalty there that we have to adhere to. And anything that would separate our marriage would be a betrayal of the marriage. And in some cases could be viewed as a betrayal against the loyalty and the trust of all of that. But I think that again, like, you have to have some sort of balance to weigh the betrayal.
When I read this, I took this, so family ties mean nothing to me. You're a human and we either have a relationship or we don't.
Right. Same.
Right? So I read this with that perspective. And with that perspective of we are humans who have decided to build a foundation of a relationship, I experience betrayal when I feel like my side's not heard. Or if they're trying to not understand me, right? Like they're just shutting down the conversation. They don't want to hear what I have to say. They don't care what I have to say because it happened 10 years ago. Whatever. That's where that betrayal comes from because you can't even listen to me as a human being right now.
So
Does that make sense?
no, because it still speaks to validation to me. So where's the betrayal coming from? Why do you feel betrayed? Like that
Because of the
specific-
foundation of our relationship. If I choose to have a relationship with somebody, that relationship has meaning. I just don't have willy-nilly relationships with people, right?
I get that.
So what happened a few days ago felt like a betrayal to me.
Right.
That's what I mean by that. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm not that situation. There was a lot of betrayal there.
Right.
But again, this is what we are assigning meaning to that situation. You are expecting those people to behave a certain way, and when they don't, you feel like there's a betrayal there. That doesn't speak to betrayal. That speaks to trusting in the wrong thing. And like that's a lie. It's a falsity. It's not.
Okay, I need you to pause because you just said a lot. Say what you just said, please.
That it's not a betrayal. That you put your trust in the wrong thing.
That's not what you said. You did say that, but that wasn't the thing that triggered my thought. It was something you said in between that.
Jay said, "Amen, Chris. I live by remove the title. Removing the title of parent, sibling, friend, etc. Evaluate how that individual treats you and decide if you'd want a relationship with said title." I agree. You have to set, Zach said, you have a set of expectations that both parties adhere to in any relationship. Breaking or deviating from those expectations creates a sense of betrayal. Betrayal in the sense would indicate the unexpected deviation from the expected bonds in terms of the relationship.
Bounds.
Yeah.
That's what I agree with that. That's what I mean.
But so in that situation, they're not betraying you, they're betraying the agreement. Betrayal is a personal thing.
Okay, I need you to back up. I don't understand how it's a betrayal on the agreement and not a betrayal on me.
Because when you meet somebody and you agree to have any type of interaction with them, positive
Right.
or negative, you are agreeing to the terms that you have set forth and what you expect out of this exchange. So essentially, you're creating a contract. This
Right.
is what we hope to extend to get out of this. Over time, that trust goes from the contract to the actual relationship and the bonds that have been built over time. But when you go to that aspect of even the bonds built over time versus the trust of the contract, it's still a betrayal based off of your own assignment. You can't. So we can't sit up here and be like, "That's a you problem," or, "Damn it, I lost it." You can't be a victim. The world doesn't just happen to you. It just happens. And what you assign to that is where that comes from.
Right.
So in order for you to recognize that and believe that to be the case, in order for there to be a betrayal, you have to believe that that person put all of their wants and hopes and dreams into the same thing that you wanted, hopes and dreams, and were putting you as a priority above all. And I can see a betrayal feeling in that aspect, but then when you look at the same situation and realize that people are always going to do what's best for them in the moment, and you can call that cynical. I do understand that people will go above and beyond for people.
I get that perspective. People make it personal, though.
Right. They make it personal.
Yeah.
Right. They don't have to. All the shit that people have ever done to me, good or bad, has happened.
Right.
It did. Whether it was for their best interest or my best interest or however things played out, life happened.
Yeah.
It's not happening to me. They didn't betray me. They did their thing.
Right.
I can't be mad at them for that. Why would I be mad at them for that? That speaks to my own ego and narcissism. There's selfishness there. Me. I'm the center of the universe. How could you? That's how I view betrayal.
That's not how I view betrayal.
Okay. Well, how do you view betrayal then?
I view betrayal as just something that people do. Right? So, like, speaking on that situation, what was said was a personal attack, right? And I can handle someone not agreeing with me. We don't have to see eye to eye on everything. But when it becomes personal, I do view that as a personal betrayal. Like, you not just only overstepped a boundary of the relationship, you're overstepping a boundary with me.
Right.
And that's where I view that betrayal coming in, because it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
I don't view it as something happening to me, but it is something that affects me.
Well, that in that specific situation, it was done intentionally to you because it was out of malice from another person.
Right.
And that's the assignment that we're putting on it is factual because of what it was. That's neither here nor there. I understand what you're trying to get at. I'm just able to find other words that better put that into perspective for me, because I know people are going to do what they think is best for them.
Right.
And,
I agree with that.
The more I believe in that, the less I'm disappointed by anyone. And I don't take anything personal anymore, unless it was like an outright attack. It's just easier. I mean, sometimes we'll argue and shit. Like, we'll have people that have disagreements with us and we want to have the back and forth. I think that's actually good for our brains, but I don't feel betrayed by a lot of things like I used to. So the idea of the betrayal aspect of that is where my hang up is.
No.
I understand the validation that wants to be there in this scenario you read. I understand people wanting to feel like they're not alone. That's fucking huge. That's, that feeling of solitude and not having anyone in your corner sucks ass. I understand that too, but I don't see that as a betrayal, because in order for there to be a betrayal, you have to have undying loyalty to one side of a situation. And if you have two people in a situation, both of them have the lived experience that they were going through.
Right.
And they had to make the best decisions for them. Somebody maybe heard about it, but was it done solely just to spite you? Because if it wasn't a betrayal. They made a decision that was best for them in the moment. Maybe they're trying, because the argument you gave was that, somebody took one side of the family member saying that it happened 10 years ago, you should let it go. Maybe they're trying to give new light or have a new conversation, or maybe they're just sick of hearing about trauma that you haven't healed yet.
Or maybe they just don't want to hear it.
Right. Then that could be the case. We don't know those things,
right.
But that's the type of assignments that we put onto the conversation that's being had. And now we feel betrayed because grandma didn't agree with us.
Right.
Grandma didn't have to agree with anyone. Grandma's got her own opinion.
Right. I think it is important to defend things that happen in childhood that were wrong, though.
I'm not saying that it's not.
I'm not saying that you are. I want to add that on there.
I think people need a whole lot of therapy.
They do. You want to move on to another one?
Sure.
So let's see. This one saved a reel, and I wasn't trying to save a reel. That's stupid. Oh, this one had an impact on me. I was ashamed of myself when I realized life was a costume party and I attended with my real face.
Damn.
That one messed me up for a few hours.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot in that one.
Yep.
I mean, that speaks to the masks that we wear. It speaks to trying to fit into certain social situations to be accepted.
Trying to survive.
Validation of other people, not having self-worth. Like, there's a lot to that.
Yeah, social media speaks a lot to that. Have you seen the Nikocado avocado thing? Do you know who he is? He's been on YouTube for like over a decade. I followed him early on when he was still vegan. He He was vegan. He was super healthy. He was just an all around happy guy. Like he played music. And then he got into mukbangs. And he put on like 300 pounds. And he was using mobility scooter. He was chaotic. He was all over the place. He would like smash food on his face and like cry on camera and wail. I think he shit himself on camera once and just kept eating. Yeah.
Why?
An absolute mess because it was views. He was claiming it was a social experiment.
We are not okay.
No. Well, about a week ago, he came back. He's been posting for the last 2 years. He's lost 200 pounds.
Wow.
It was all a social experiment. He pre-recorded enough content for 2 years to put all of that out. And he was like, yesterday, you guys were telling me that I was mentally unhinged and I was a fat piece of shit and I wasn't going to survive. And here I am now. You had no idea what was happening behind the scenes.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was all an act. He says it was all an act. I don't know. It could have been mental breakdowns and he recognized that he had to get his life together and he decided to post all of the content anyway and do that. It could have all been an act and he planned it all from the beginning.
It's a lot to process.
That quote
is a lot.
Yeah.
I agree with that one.
I agree with it too. This one says, and that's the thing about people who mean everything they say. They think everyone else does too.
Yeah, I that's also something that I can fuck with. But the problem is most people don't speak what they think what they say, or say what they think. A lot of people suppress,
right?
And they sugarcoat, and they are afraid of confrontation because it's easier to make an angry post vaguely on Facebook than it is to actually send a text message going, "Hey, what you did earlier hurt my feelings."
That vague posting is such pussy behavior.
It is. But see,
I can't stand it.
That's just it. The people who are like we are, who say what's on our minds.
Yeah.
People are going to take offense to that. But those people that take offense to that don't stay in our social circles. And as we move past them and they stay doing what they're doing, you're not mad that I was an asshole. You were mad that we were fucking doing our thing and living by example and fucking living the life like we say we're supposed to versus trying to people please everyone around us. Like, yeah.
It's absolutely crazy because you just said we would go on and whomever, and this is for everybody. If you decide to move on with your life, looking back at the people who haven't changed is like looking at a time capsule.
Looking back at me, I see. Sorry.
I never really got it right. I know what you're doing. Hey, all right.
Oh, every fucking time you say it. I always just suppress it. And last week you did it. And I was like, next time she does it, I'm going to do it. And you did it. And I was like, well, I said I was going to do it.
I love that. I love you did it anyway.
It happens. Like that's 90% of my brain activity when we're talking.
We bond every time you do it. Why would you keep that from us? And don't say for the podcast.
I don't know.
Don't say it. That's such a lame excuse. But it's like looking at a time capsule. Seeing somebody who hasn't changed in 5, 10, 15 years, still living as a teenager, as someone in their early 20s. Their home reflects it. Their life reflects it. The way they speak reflects it. Absolutely insane.
Jay said, if I'm lucky enough, I'll tell the truth every chance I get because smiles faked to appease another is worth 10 regrets. I guess it's a song lyric.
This ain't for you, Leo. Get away.
Is that fried mushrooms? Or pickles, I mean?
It is, yes.
Can I have one?
You want spicy ranch?
No, I just want the pickle.
That's a perk about being married to me. I just eat sides and appetizers.
I have one that I saved from this morning.
Okay.
This came from a Threads comment from 2 days ago. Dude wrote, Peaches said something in a podcast that really resonated with me, and I'm not sure how you guys do it, but I always seem to find an episode that's relevant to my life at the time. I'm gonna pause there because I firmly believe that people hear when they need to. And that's why people come and go versus just staying here the whole time. Or people will come for the content and stay for the community. That was a good one I heard recently. I do believe that people who really need to hear the message will. That's why, we've talked about that a lot.
Yep. Universe works.
Yep. He then wrote, just because 15,000 people are okay with it doesn't mean I will be. I really wish people could understand this concept more rather than trying to normalize things that just aren't okay with that we aren't okay with as individuals. If 15,000 people are cool with this thing you want to do, go be with one of them or respect my boundary. The reason for the post is irrelevant. But that idea of us having to blend in or fit into the crowd of 15,000, as he put it, I don't like that we can't just disagree anymore.
Right.
Or that we can't have a conversation where, just because I don't like this song and you do, one of us is wrong.
Right.
And hearing that or reading that I was like, I need to save that and bring that up in the podcast because it's okay to have your boundaries and not like everything that everybody else does. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have that just get into fit in. Sit down, man. Woman talking. Like,
right.
Yeah. What are you doing? Squishy face dog.
The human experience is a lot.
Yeah.
It is. I have fully convinced myself that this human experience is for a reason. And either you're going to get it right this time or you're going to come back and try again.
Man, no, I hope I fucking got it right this time.
I feel like I'm getting it right this time. Like, I really feel like I'm getting it right this time. But I read this one the other day, and this kind of messed me up. Sometimes dying to your flesh means responding in gentleness when you just want to tell it like it is. And that, reflecting back on that conversation, showed you a screenshot. And I was like, I want to send it.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah, that's growth.
And I conducted myself, and I ended it. Right? That was peak anxiety, fight or flight me. And since moving past that, and the waters have calmed, the peace is back, the dragonflies are dancing on the water, I have now experienced a massive conflict resolution. It wasn't a great outcome. It sucked. But there was not massive world-ending fallout. I'm still experiencing a little bit of anxiety about it, that 3-day fallout anxiety, but in that moment, it felt like I was dying. Even the day after, like I still had that, a tiger's chasing me right now.
Yeah.
That dying in your flesh is real.
Well, I mean, growth is hard.
It is.
And anytime you have to go through that, you are going to be living through, body remembers type shit. Mm-hmm. So all those triggers that get brought up and all that shit you have to work through in the moment is
so hard.
Right. And it's you're living through things that have worked in the past. Like, so all of those steps that you were going through was you trying to learn new steps because this is what you've always done and it's always gotten you to a certain point. So now you're trying to create new neural pathways to fucking do the thing. So
growing new neural pathways fucking hurts. Did you have growing pains as a kid? Did you ever experience? Do you remember how that felt? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that was some of the worst pain. Nothing would make it go away. And that's how it feels in those moments, but earth-shattering in my brain. But now I know I can do it.
Yeah, there's a strength in that.
It feels good to know that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to die more.
Oh, wow.
You still enjoy me?
Of course.
Okay.
I got to be honest, I'm along for the ride today with this episode.
Yeah. How does it feel?
I just don't, it's not that I don't want to work because I really want to have conversations and talk and be social right now.
It's the end of the week. And it's been a long week.
It has been a fucking week for me.
And it's been a month for you. Like, so we're finally getting resolution with your back.
Right.
And
so I'm along for the ride. I'm down to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I have also saved stuff though.
Are you not having fun?
I am having fun.
It's okay to tell me no. Just in case. In case anybody thinks he's saying that.
You guys hear that? She's so abusive. She's got to give me code word to let her know that I'm allowed to disagree with her.
Kumquat.
That's funny. Okay, here's a fun question.
Okay.
It's not fun, but
I'm ready for a question. Questions are fun.
He makes $55 a year.
Okay.
She makes $35 a year. They move in together.
Wait, $55 a year, $35 a year. That $90,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
They move in together. Rent is $1,500. He expects to pay for half. Is he wrong?
No.
Why?
Because if we haven't combined our finances yet, everything's split 50-50. If If I'm making $100,000 a year and I'm dating someone who's making $30,000 a year and we're not married, you're not piggybacking off of me. Everything is 50-50. And if that means that we're living below my means, I'm cool with that. If you're taking advantage, right? Like if you're trying to take advantage and I'm testing waters here, you're not riding on my coattails. I will live below my means until you prove to me that you're here for me and not for my money, right? Yeah, that really sounds like that bothers me. I want to say gold digger. It's not, but that's the extreme in my mind.
When I screenshotted that comment, that post, there was 4,000 replies.
Really?
It wasn't mine. It was just one that popped up on Threads. But the comments are all men talking about how they're used as objects for money, and women complain about being used as objects for sex, where it's the same thing.
Right.
And then there's people on here going, I was in this exact same situation. He had me move from another country. And like, there's all these crazy ass things, and none of it talks about like what's really being had there in that moment. If you are going to get married, it becomes your money.
Right. There's no 50-50 on anything.
Right.
Like,
we make $90,000 now. Rent's $1,500 a month. Rent's got to come out of that $90,000.
All money's going into the bank account. If you're spending money, let me know how much you're spending.
Right.
We can have a separate bank account for spending where we deposit $1,000 a month. And now we know how much we can spend and everything else comes out of the main checking account. Yep. Yeah, that you make more than me, so you pay for 75% of the rent. All right, I get 75% of this house.
Right. At that point, it is purely a transaction.
Like, yeah, that does sound gold diggerish.
I saved that because of the whole combined income thing.
That bothers me.
If you're moving in, it shouldn't be like that. Like, you guys are doing the thing, and if it is going to be a 50-50 thing, you got to pay your half.
Right.
Just because you make less money is not a me problem.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine paying 75% of rent. She's paying 25% of rent and then going out and buying Louis bags. I would lose my mind.
Okay, this is another one.
Okay.
This post might ruffle some feathers, but I truly dislike that wedding vendors require me to tag them on any post that I make on social media. I am paying for a service. Why am I also giving you free marketing if I don't want to? I mean, if I have a restaurant and I take a picture of a meal, I don't have to tag the restaurant. I tag them if I so desire. There is a trend going around with photographers that are making, obviously people watermark their photos.
Right.
But when you are being paid as a creator to create something, it is not for you. You are doing a job for somebody.
Right. They want a product from you.
Right. And you are there to do a job. Do you think that it's fair for photographers or other creatives to ask or demand?
No, not to demand. You can politely ask. If you really enjoyed the photos, would you mind tagging me when you post them? I would really appreciate the positive funnel.
Right.
It would help me out. If you hit them with, if you're going to post, you have to tag me, or you can't post the photos, I'm finding a new photographer.
Right. This is why you got to read contracts.
Right.
Could you imagine having doing a boudoir photo shoot, because we've done a lot of those, and then having after the fact being told after we paid that we can't use any of it unless we name the person who did it, like photo credit, da 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 da. I'm buying that.
Right,
It's
you already got
us.
your money from me.
Right. I think that's fucking crazy that people are
that's
trying
insane.
to demand that.
That sounds like a lot of that sounds like an entitlement. Like you feel entitled to ask, not to ask, to demand somebody of that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with the polite asking all day. I'm down to help people out.
Same.
And if you know how to conduct yourself as a human being, let's go. But you're not above me. I just paid you for a service. Yeah, that gives me higher than thou.
So there's a comment and then a screenshot of a comment from the same dude from like a day before.
Okay.
And I wanted to read this too because it was funny.
Okay.
He said, "This is weird. Why wouldn't you want the people that made your day special to excel? You sound weird. How did you learn of their services? How did you see their work? How did you read reviews? This doesn't ruffle feathers, but it does make you sound like you don't truly want them to excel. How does tagging them hurt you?" And before I read the comment that they screenshotted that he made the day before, us tagging people because we're happy with the work or because they are doing life shit is a benefit to them. It's a free
courtesy,
marketing.
yeah.
And if you want somebody that has a following to post shit like that, you're going to pay them for it.
Right.
So if somebody is going to expect you to do that, because like if let's say we hired a photographer to do our vow renewal, and they go, well, I normally charge $10,000, but because you're influencers, if you post our work, I'll charge you $5,000. You just have to tag us once a week on everything. That's a very different scenario because you are paying me to market for you.
Right.
Okay.
And that payment is the discount.
Right. Right.
In case some people want to run with that and misconstrue it, the payment is the discount on the photography.
Yeah. So the screenshot from the conversation of the dude the day before said, respectfully, don't ask me to collaborate on something that brings you dollars. I'm not interested in volunteering. While you get paid off of my free labor, that's not how this works. That was his screenshotted from the day before conversation that he was bitching about having to collab with people versus realizing what is exactly here because you're trying to get paid and be a collaborative by demanding that they post.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
The internet's wild.
Jenna made a really good comment. It's gone now, but she said that demanding tagging like that removes the trust of word of mouth.
Absolutely.
100%. That was a really good point to make. For those of you unaware, we are currently live with our Patreon right now. We currently, 70 people sitting here watching us live as we record this podcast episode for y'all. Yep. If you're interested in watching live recordings, seeing uncut versions of us, seeing the things that don't make it to the podcast, check out our Patreon. It's linked somewhere, I promise. I don't know all of that back end stuff. Husband?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
It's posted. It's there.
Perfect.
In the description. Unless you're listening on a podcast, then you're missing out on YouTube anyways. But you're missing out on all kinds of cool shit.
Patreon.com/to-be-better. Maybe To Be Better podcast.
I think it's To Be Better.
Try either or variation. You'll find it. When you see the chess pieces, you know it's us.
We should also go ahead and plug Matrix Hormones, right? Because we're trying to do the thing and being on top of the things that we're supposed to be on top of. So,
yes.
For those of you who don't know, we are both patients of Matrix Hormones. They've done a lot for our blood work, trying to get our hormones regulated and in check. If you have not done your blood work in the last 6 months to a year, it's probably time to go get that done. Check out Matrix Hormones for that.
She's up here trying to get food with me, and I put my crock in her face, and instead of getting down because she's stubborn, she was just going, moving it. You dork.
It's patreon.com/to-be-better.
Perfect. Patreon for the clutch.
Yep. Spring Allison asked if we're ready for the trip. I'm trying to be. My back is so fucking wrecked.
Oh, man, I can't wait for Thailand. I'm nervous. I have a little bit of anxiety. It's going to be the longest I've been away from the children.
Yeah.
And then there's like a 6 or 7 hour time difference. That's going to be a lot.
So we've been on for 50 minutes. Are you ready for one that'll trigger you?
Yes.
I took my 11-year-old daughter to get a drink at Starbucks. We watched an incredibly handsome construction worker walk across the parking lot and into the store. Do you know what that little girl said to me? I don't know what he fixes, but mine is broken. This was posted by a mom about her 11-year-old. But mine's broken. Should have seen the comments on that one. So much girl power.
I'm sorry, what? They were rooting for that?
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. That's the failure I'm talking about from mothers to daughters. That's one of the failures that I'm talking about. Your child just said a sexual innuendo and you thought it was hilarious.
At 11.
11 years old. Why does your child know how to say that? Why does your child know what that means?
Yep.
I can see why an 11-year-old would know what that means, right? Because puberty is starting to happen. I'm going to start having conversations with the children around that time of body changes. You're going to start learning things. No, that's not something my 11-year-old would know. Neither of them. Maybe 14 or 15.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to depend on the people that they hang around with at school, ultimately. Because even though our kids won't have devices,
yeah,
theirs
you're
will.
right. You're right. But then they're going to come home and say something like that, and I'm going to be like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? One more time? Just make sure I heard you right. And then we're going to have a conversation about that, and we're never saying that again.
Yep. Pretty wild.
Not around me. I don't want to hear my children saying that. You can joke like that when you're an adult, but you're a child right now. Don't do that.
It's pretty wild to me that somebody posted that on social media thinking that there was a flex there, and it was being reshared.
And that's not a flex.
It's not.
That is very poor parenting. And that's why our daughters grow up with insecurity issues and low self-worth. Low self-worth. 11 years old. 11 years old.
It's funny that we used to just send this kind of shit to each other and have conversations, and now we're screenshotting it so that we can have the conversations while we record. I have another one.
Okay. Hang on. I need to get it out of my system. 11 years old.
Yeah.
11.
This one is...
I was taking care of virtual horses at 11.
I had Tamagotchis, bitch. 80s.
Like... I was trying to draw anime.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, by then I was exposed to a lot of things I shouldn't have been exposed to, so I was definitely fucked up in a sense, but the letdown of childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it out of my system.
Okay. This was a question that came through on TikTok that I screenshotted so that we could talk about it on an episode.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on a partner that's a book girl? Making the other partner feel like competition with their fictional love interest.
I'm sorry, read that one more time. Making what? Who feel like what?
What are your thoughts on a partner that is a book girl?
A book girl, okay.
Making the other partner feel like competition with their fictional love interests. I've been seeing a lot of women say they have multiple fictional boyfriends that the real boyfriend have to compete with. This is the shit that's going on TikTok.
Are you kidding me? Be single.
Yeah.
Be single with your imaginary boyfriends. That falls right into, I don't understand how men can watch porn when they have a real life woman next to them. Right. How can you be sitting here fantasizing about book boyfriends when you have a breathing man next to you? Are you serious?
Because not all breathing men are breathing men. Some are sniveling little bitches. Like,
then why did you pick that?
Self-worth.
Fix
it's a self-worth thing.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Fix the self-worth.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I'm crazy. It's crazy. I'm curious, and it's crazy. That just all one word.
Yeah.
When you have conversations with like that, like, don't you think that's a little fucking weird?
I do.
Like, you have to compete with my imaginary boyfriend.
That's a level of narcissism because you've created this boyfriend in your mind.
Right.
And now you're trying to make a real life human being live up to some imaginary thing you've created in your mind. Holy shit.
I'm also curious how different the boyfriend is in real life compared to the made up one. Because if it's complete opposites, you are definitely like settling way the fuck down versus what you feel like you deserve or want to have. And why are you fantasizing about the opposite of what you actually have instead of trying to get...
That makes me uncomfortable.
Right?
I'm very uncomfortable right now. I can get being single and fantasizing about a dude while reading a book. But make that into like goals to find in a man in real life. Don't make that you have to achieve this book or you're not worth it.
Right.
Right? Like...
Well, that speaks to the same false expectations that porn sets.
It does, yeah.
And how that trickles down a rabbit hole. But
yep. You know, and it's not just books anymore. I keep getting ads on TikTok for some app where you can, it's like a choose your adventure book, but it's an app.
Okay.
Like your choices affect the game, but it's all dating shit. Like you're a woman in an all alpha male area and two alphas are fighting over you and you have to pick one and they can tell by the scent of your sweat that you're stressed. Like, what am I looking at right now? Yeah. So it's not just books anymore. Women can now download apps to create fictional relationships like a book.
That's insane.
Isn't it? Like dudes having AI girlfriends.
Yeah. I mean, that's the robot AI thing is definitely a thing now.
Oh God, the future is making me uncomfortable. Future. Do you guys remember that? Does anybody remember that?
I remember that.
That's funny.
I have another one.
Damn.
What?
Death Clan said, I bet some of those book girls get with men that let women use them as placemats.
Probably.
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 Good point.
I have another one that came from Discord, and I don't know if we've talked about it or not, so I'm going to read it, and if it rings a bell, we can just move on.
Okay.
This one says...
If it rings a bell or doesn't ring a bell?
Whatever, either way. Me and my boyfriend do weekly check-ins and don't live together. So when it comes to the question, what did I drop the ball on this week? It's hard to say anything simply because we don't share any household responsibilities or have children involved. Is there a different way you two, or anyone here for that matter, could suggest rewording it? He suggested that we say, what expectations did I fall short of? But I don't like using the word expectation. Did we have a conversation about the whole expectation thing? I feel like this was already a discussion.
Okay. But the expectation thing? Hang on. Okay, read it one more time. What was the beginning of it? Just the beginning of it, the problem.
That they don't want to use the word, the phrasing, what did I drop the ball on this week? Because they don't share household responsibilities or children.
Okay, well, that's not what that's in regards to. It's not just household responsibilities. If I was trying to emotionally connect with you and you weren't paying attention or you just didn't care in the moment, you dropped the ball.
Right. I put in a bid for connection.
Right.
You missed it.
I pointed out 3 classic cards this week and you didn't say anything to me. And we usually always get super excited. That's dropping the ball. What's going on right now?
Right.
So.
Are you done over there, Darkwing Duck?
I'm not. I love that.
You just need the hat.
I'm over here like, I'm Batman. That's what I was thinking as you were talking.
Yeah. I'll wait until you're done so she can just cut this out.
Okay. You want to know one of my insecurities?
What?
So people, you know what? I've actually on my weight loss TikToks.
Okay, before you say anything else, just know that you're wearing my favorite outfit. And if you're about to insult your body, it's probably going to make me a little unhinged. So save that shit if you're about to insult your body while you're wearing my favorite outfit.
Okay, well, I'm not going to insult my body. I'm just going to admit an insecurity.
Okay.
An insecurity is different from me insulting my body because I am happy in my body. I've worked really hard to get to where I am. And this is kind of like a trophy from my weight loss.
Okay.
I'm just insecure about it.
Okay.
So on my weight loss TikToks, a couple of people have come onto my TikTok and said, you haven't had that weight loss, you're lying. Because I don't look like I've lost that kind of weight. All of this loose skin in my armpit is one of my biggest insecurities for my weight loss. All of this arm fat, I really have that.
It's just skin. It's not fat though.
No, but it's loose skin. Like and that's one of my biggest insecurities for my weight loss, and it's in my armpit too. And like,
do they do armpit tucks?
Oh, I don't know if I would want to do. My armpits are so sensitive.
I mean,
I would be too scared to do that.
They do tummy tucks. You would think that they could tighten up that arm muscle.
You know, somebody that we used to work with did that. They got the mommy makeover and they did the arm thing. And she said it was one of the worst experiences ever, that arm pain. So I think I'm going to skip that because she had the lady balls, but on her arms. And I don't want to do that. I don't think I could get comfy. I wouldn't be able to cuddle you. I'll live with the insecurity.
It'll only be like that for a day or two.
A day or two?
Yeah.
I was out of commission for like 6 weeks. It's going to hurt to hug you.
It would, yeah.
It's going to hurt to say hello to my friend. A lot would change there. I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the downside of losing weight.
It happens. I mean, I made the choice to get that big.
Right. And even if you would have lost it slower than you did, you still would have had loose skin.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that you're right, though, in that those are like trophies.
Yeah. I feel the same way about my thighs.
I used to feel that way about my scars, my stretch marks. Yeah. Those are battle wounds. I earned those.
Yeah.
You know.
I just looked at my phone, like the audacity of it to ring like that. I didn't know my ringtone was on. Sorry, guys. I have to block that number real quick. I learned how to screenshot on it this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't envy the learning the new software thing.
It's not that bad. I enjoy Android. I moved to iPhone like a decade ago, and it's just been easier to get the iPhone upgrades instead of transferring everything over.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the layout of the Android better.
I don't think I've got anything else. That was my entire folder.
I do. Okay, so I saved this one because it made me think of a specific instance in my lifetime. And I had this thought. And I hung on to that thought because it made me change the way I lived my life. All right? I don't know if this is an actual quote from Nikola Tesla. But
who?
Nicola.
Nicola? I was like, who the fuck is Nicola? Nicola. Oh, shit.
And it says, when your education limits your imagination, it's called indoctrination. And I remember I was like 16 or 17 years old, and I really enjoyed writing as a kid. I would write short stories all the time. And I sat down one day to write a story, and I was so focused on MLA format and making sure I had enough sentences in my paragraph that I wasn't actually writing a story. I was too hyper fixated on making sure I was just writing the right way, that I wasn't writing at all. And I was like, oh my God, I don't remember how to write a story. And like, it took me months to get my imagination back to be able to create a storyline that's not based on research data or like just a fantasy novel. Like, and that's when I recognized
that Dungeons and Dragons is super important for everyone on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're on the same page. Got it.
That's when I realized that was one of the first recognitions of the negative impact of the school system on my brain.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot in the first, I guess the first half of the year. That was a very heavy conversation. Mm-hmm. The idea of parents killing the creativity in their children because it's an inconvenience to them stops them from being free thinkers. Do you think that Elon Musk has what he has because he let that imagination go? You look at the Cybertruck. It is every 6-year-old's ugly truck drawing. Like, he's done everything he's ever wanted to do with his, that he's imagined. Mm-hmm. And it's because he believes it can be done versus having somebody tell you can never do that. You're not smart enough. That's foolish.
Yeah.
You can't draw. You can't tell stories. You can't write.
What you're doing is stupid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next one.
Yes.
Next time someone tries to bring you down, remember this: confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud.
I agree and I disagree.
Okay.
Because some of the most arrogant people I know have the arrogance that they have because of the confidence they built prior.
Okay. That's a good point.
But I also agree that when you know that you're where you need to be, you don't have to broadcast it. Mm-hmm. So there's a level of that too. This is those things that like you can read that on 2 different days and assign 2 very different meanings to it based off of the lived experience of your day to day.
Yeah.
What'd you drop?
I didn't drop. I just realized I never smoked. I was too focused on eating.
You were doing that the entire time and not smoking?
No, I was sucking on it, trying to get it to pop. And then we got distracted. I got distracted because we started talking about things, and then Nicola.
Jenny called this the meme episode.
Which is crazy because we're talking about things that are helpful. Oh no, babe.
What?
Oh no, I backed out of where I was at. How do I get back to my collections?
Hit on the menu and then hit saved.
Saved. Oh, you're so genius. Okay, I need to do this. I found the next one that we can read, but I need to.
Ghosty said, I have a hard time expressing myself because I was laughed at as a kid for a story that I was proud of. And that's all it takes. It takes that one moment of having something that you want to show the world that you made shit on to make you feel like I can't draw, I can't paint, my sculptures are shit, my stories aren't good, my poetry sucks ass.
Yeah.
I'm just stupid, worthless, and like that's all I'll ever be. Because you were so excited about something that you wanted to share, your creation, and people... I mean, that's a thing for a lot of fucking people.
It takes a simple thing just as, yeah, that's cool.
Right.
And not even looking at it to crush somebody's desire to do art.
And that's also a bid for connection.
It is. Every time the children bring me something that they colored or drew or they traced their hand, I get super stoked about it. And then I ask them, what do you feel about it? How do you feel about what you just made? And they'll either say, I love it, or our daughter's really good at, it's good, but the nose is kind of off. So I'll have to redo that next time.
Yeah.
But they're able to critique themselves and point out the things that they don't like, and I can encourage and give pointers on how to make it better next time. But it's not coming from me as a harsh criticism because they were excited to show me something.
Yeah. I think that lives all the way into adulthood. And I think that you can see that in social circles when people go from hobby to hobby to hobby and the friend group starts to fall apart because of it. Because somebody may not enjoy D&D or they may not enjoy paintball or whatever the case may be. And then that breakdown starts to happen. But when you have that group of people and like 3 or 4 of like it, and somebody does it and like, that's fucking stupid. You guys, it could sway the want of the people who are doing these new hobbies and playing these new games because they want to fit in with their friend group still.
That was a big hit.
I saw that. I see it in the redness of your eyes already starting.
That's my eyes tearing up. So I reload that thing like once a day. I might skip a day.
You didn't bring your Sherlock, did you?
It's in my car. I forgot to bring it in.
No. I bought her a new Puffco. It's like,
oh my God. It's a Gandalf
that
pipe.
long. Well, now you don't need a cookie.
No, I was thinking like later tonight.
Oh.
I mean, if we're going to be here all day gaming, you don't want me to eat a cookie, do you?
I don't care if you eat a cookie or not.
Okay.
I'm don't try to like peer pressure me into trying to keep up with you.
I would never do that.
I eat a half of a cookie.
I
and
would
you
never
eat
do
10
that.
of them. So it's not the same thing.
I would never do that. Do you think I would do that?
No. I'm just giving you shit.
That hurt my feelings a little bit.
You'll be all right.
Okay, you cock. I was trying to communicate. I enjoy baked you.
Yeah.
You're fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're fun, not baked, but
It's
you're
nice.
very I can tell you're not worried about what you're saying and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice to not be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It's helping. I mean,
That's nice.
this back pain goes away. I'm gonna stop partaking, but
Yeah.
I don't like the glitchiness that happens in my brain. I feel like it pixelates and has to render. It's the only way I can explain that to people and them actually
Yeah.
get it. So
All right. So this one says childhood wounds are reopened in parenthood because giving what you never had hurts.
that's a cock of shit. Giving what you never got from your parents to your kids hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a superhero moment. I'm breaking generational trauma. I'm going to be the shield that all of that shit breaks against so that my kids grow up okay.
That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Fuck it, man, I feel like a superhero.
Yeah.
When I hear my mom and all the abuse start to want to come out of me and I'm able to stop that in the
Right.
moment, there's no pain there at all.
Right. Well, I mean, that's even Spider-Man has adrenaline when he's bleeding. Still a superhero. Doesn't mean that doesn't hurt. Deadpool's a good example. Yeah, Deadpool's kind of a hero. I don't think Deadpool's a hero. Yeah, he's chaotic. He does good deeds sometimes, but
Are they done dirt cheap?
he's a lot. Done dirt cheap.
You know what we should do?
Yes.
What?
I don't know. I'm just excited.
We should, one of these times where we do D&D, we should microdose first.
Oh,
and just not tell
hell
anyone.
yeah. Hell yeah. Oh man, do you think they'll be able to tell?
I don't know. I don't know. I would have to really prepare notes that night.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Holland Spider-Man bled on screen. There you go. I knew somebody would know.
It was that's right, Tom Holland. That's what I was thinking of. I don't know why. I think of Tom Holland and I think of that umbrella lip sync he did, and then I think of Elsa because they both have the same energy.
No idea what you're talking about.
I was because I said, am I thinking of Spider-Man or am I thinking of Frozen?
Right.
That's how that correlated in my brain because Tom Holland reminds me of Elsa. Oh man.
Go live when you do. We do. We play D&D live every weekend. Although I don't think that we're going to be having a game this weekend. And we have 2 slots in our game open up.
Oh, we do.
So we
That's
have to try to find 2
Yeah.
people to step into new characters at the level that we're currently at to I mean, we don't
fill the
need
spots.
to.
Right.
Technically, we could play with 4 people. That's more than enough. But I like the 5 to 6 range,
Right.
so that when people miss, we can still have games. Yeah,
It sucks to see them leave, but I'm excited for their house renovations and whatnot,
Yeah.
getting their life situated.
that's the number one killer of D&D games is scheduling.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You try to get people to dedicate a night a week to something, no matter what. It's hard to get 5 or 6 people to do it. It's a lot fucking harder. That's why most D&D games don't go past level 10. The groups fall apart before it gets that far.
What's crazy is that's not a thing in childhood.
Right. Well, because you
Right.
guys are still living close by, there's no
Right.
real responsibilities. You're at the mercy of your parents allowing you to go be friends.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm really... So I have to start at the thought of my thought process. We've derailed, guys. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. So I thought about Stranger Things, and they were playing D&D with the Demogorgon and doing all of that in the basement. And I was like, oh man, the 80s. Yes.
Nope. Go ahead, because I'm gonna fucking take this entire conversation. I got super excited and was like, oh, don't talk over her. Just sit here.
Thank you. Thank you for saying you're going to take over the conversation too. So, the 80s, and I was like, man, childhood. And I was like, oh, childhood. And I was like, oh, our kids' childhood. And I was like, the world's childhood. And now I'm at adulthood is a very long time. Your childhood is maybe 11, 12 years before you start getting met with the really harsh realities of life. Mm-hmm. That's not a long time.
Nope. Feels like a lot longer than it does when you're in your 40s, though. I saw something the other day that talked about that, the way that they breaks down like the years that we are spent as a child and how at 40 something years old, we've lived past our mid-age point. Mm-hmm. The average man lives to 75 years. So I'm technically past my mid-age point.
Don't tell me that.
But they say that because the older you get, the less time you have, the shorter it feels. So your childhood is the longest part of your life in terms of feeling like that. And then life just kind of compounds. Anyways, on the D&D thing, because I don't want to forget, when you said that the 80s Stranger Things, Demogorgon D&D thing, you know how fucking rare it would have been for kids at that age to be playing Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s?
Why?
Because it was considered devil worship. And they thought there was a whole fucking thing about D&D. They thought that people were like worshiping demons and bringing demons into their homes, and like kids were being murdered because of Dungeons and Dragons. And like there was a whole hoopla. It was really big in the church groups, and like, so for D&D to be a thing in the 80s, to be referenced in Stranger Things, for that to be a thing, that was such a small group of kids who would have actually got to experience that in the 80s. And every time I watch that on Stranger Things or it gets brought up, I'm like, bullshit that they played D&D to that extent. Right. Bullshit that the parents let them fucking do it. Like, you got the coolest mom on the planet, and if the other 3 moms knew what was going on, you guys are fucked. Your game is over.
Nobody's going to church at that point. Right. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, you said all of that, and all I could think of was my little fairy. Does anybody want a croissant as we murder your crewmates? Like, that's crazy. No, I get it. My fairy's destructive.
Right, but that's not what D&D was then. D&D then was all hero shit. Like you couldn't be a chaotic evil alignment.
Really?
Yeah, because that wasn't what the game was for. It was supposed to be
so you were
heroic knights, Tolkien, Game of Lord of the Rings, like that was what Dungeons and Dragons was started out as.
I love that.
And it was supposed to be the hero arcs. And then over time it's evolved into chaos, and what we do when we play D&D is not what D&D was meant to do. We are murder hobos. We take over all kinds of shit and create so much chaos that our DM just laughs at us most of the game.
Yeah.
The fact that we have not been totally party killed is astonishing.
I mean, session 1, we almost were.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because you stole that tome.
I take things. I've noticed with me eliminating cussing from my vocabulary, I'm starting to say like holy guacamole and crazy daisy.
Yeah. You see this?
Ellis gets my teeth.
That's Chris's character.
Thank you. I will make a very nice necklace out of them. In remembrance. Are they going to die? Like, is he going to die as well?
Well, her character is already dead.
I'm harvesting things in all good nature, though.
I have an idea of how I'm going to kill his character, because I don't know. I'm at a point where like, do I kill the character and just make him roll a new one if they come back, or do I leave his character alive doing something else so that if he wants to step back in his character at whatever level you guys are at, it's there to do it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then that way, when she wants to roll another character and their house has gotten back to normal, they can just jump back into the game.
Instead of having 2 new characters.
Right. And that makes sense.
That does make sense. That's a good idea.
Maybe he takes her dead body onto this other ship. You guys part ways, and he's going to try to find a way to resurrect her, right? And that's where his story arc goes for the next 3 years of the game.
Oh, shit. That could be a way to get her back.
Right. There's a whole lot of things that you can do.
We need to get a lot of ice before we do that.
There's a spell that you can cast. It's the 2nd level. It imbues the body for 10 days. so that it can be brought back as if it's only been dead for seconds. And you just cast it every 9 days and the body stays in a status of
dope.
that 10-day window.
Right. Okay, that's dope.
So I don't know. I can't think of the name of the spell, but
I would lose track of that so quick.
the cleric that's on the ship has it. So
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't have a phone. I wouldn't have a calendar. I have my mind, and now I'm making lines on a board. What if I lose track of my lines? Oh gosh, I second guess myself all the time. Did I make 1 line today, or have I made 2 lines today? I would try my best. I would try my best, definitely.
oh man, I don't have anything really to talk about. My food is sitting here. I'm actually starting to get hungry, and I really want to play video games.
Okay.
You want to wrap up and just call this a fun episode and
Yeah, we
go
can
about our life?
release this as like a Friday content or something.
Well, it will be Friday.
Oh, dope.
That
Okay.
was the whole point. I think we're into the end of October now.
Nice.
So I don't want to have to worry about Thailand. This should come out while we're in Thailand.
Okay.
We'll
Dope.
see.
Well, thank you, Patreon, for hanging out with us while we recorded today. This was fun. I enjoyed this.
Yep. I'm probably going to eat another one of those things and then play video games for the rest of the day. Hey, if you guys want to join us on Twitch, maybe we'll Twitch stream later.
Oh, I'm down for that. Yeah.
Okay.
And if anybody is available to play some COD right now, I was decimating earlier.
She thinks she's going to be able to 1v1 me and win.
No, I didn't win. Hang on. Back the fuck up.
You guys sure heard all the shit she was talking. I was in the bathroom and she's like, I'm going to fucking wreck you. And I'm like, babe, I'm just trying to go to the bathroom. Like, I know you're super aggressive out there right now, but I need like 10 minutes, please. And you're like,
I can't handle this. This is too stressful for me. Really painting a picture, babe.
Yeah, I was trying to be funny.
No, it was funny. It was good. I can see you cowering as I shout obscenities at you.
Through the door.
Through the cracked door.
LaCroix!
I'm collecting those tears when you walk out.
Yeah, that's funny. All right. With that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on Monday.
Bye, guys.